Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Truist Enjoy Cash credit card. So I'll be going over the main features of this card, its pros as well as its drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a much better idea of whether or not this credit card is a good fit for you. But before we go ahead and dive into the main features of this card, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. Okay, so diving right into the main features of this credit card. First off, we're going to be talking about cash back and how you can earn it with this card. So with this card, you actually have a couple of different options to choose from. So starting out, your first option, if you choose this one, you will be receiving 3% cash back on gas and EV charging stations. Then you'll be earning 2% cash back on groceries and utilities. This is going to be up to a combined $1,000 in monthly. That's going to be your spend cap. And then finally, on all other transactions, you will be earning 1% cash back. Now, if you don't like that option, you can actually go with an option number two. And option number two is much simpler across the board. So across the board, you will be earning 1.5% cash back, so 1.5% cash back in all categories. This is going to be unlimited. So once again, option one is going to be 3% cash back on gas and EV charging stations, 2% cash back on groceries and utilities, then 1% cash back on all other transactions. And then option number two will be 1.5% cash back on all transactions. You'll get to choose between which one you prefer the most. Now, as far as the spend bonus goes, unfortunately with this credit card, there is not a spend bonus. So what a spend bonus is that some credit cards out there in the market, you'll notice they'll offer something like if you spend $1,000 within the first 90 days from your account opening, in return, they'll give you a $200 spend bonus. This is basically to entice users to sign up for their credit card. Unfortunately, with this credit card, they are not currently offering anything like that. So of course, that is a pretty big drawback. Now, other than that, there are some pretty good features about this card though. So just starting out, you will be having a 0% introductory APR on your purchases for the first 12 months of having this credit card. So perhaps you have some larger transactions coming up, and then maybe you don't have the cash set aside right now to pay off all those transactions. Well, you won't have any type of interest rate for the first 12 months. So this is an opportunity where you can put those transactions on this card. And of course, it might be like emergency transactions where you absolutely have to spend on them. Because of course, if these transactions are just once and not necessarily needs, then you'll probably just want to hold off on making those transactions. But if they are something that you absolutely need to have right now, then perhaps you could consider putting those transactions on this card. And once again, for the first 12 months, you will have a 0% interest rate. Of course, you will want to make sure that your balance is paid off in full before the 12 months in though, because after the 12 months in, your APR at that point in time is going to jump up and you are going to have to start paying interest on all those transactions. Now, other than the 0% interest rate that you will have with this credit card for the first 12 months on your purchases, you're also going to have something called a loyalty cash bonus with this credit card. So you will receive a 10% loyalty cash bonus added to your cash redemption amount when you electronically deposit your rewards redemption into your eligible Truist personal checking, personal savings, or personal money market account. Also, if you have a Truist Dimension checking account or a Signature Advantage checking account and also electronically deposit your cash reward redemption into your eligible Truist personal checking, personal savings, or personal money market account, you may receive either a 25% or 50% loyalty cash bonus added to your cash redemption amount. And then also, for example, just setting up with a structure. So for Truist One checking account clients, for example, you're going to be receiving a 50% bonus. If your combined eligible consumer balances are $100,000 or greater, you'll be receiving a 40% bonus. If your balances are between $50,000 and $99,999, you'll be receiving a 30% bonus. if your balances are between $25,000 and $49,999, a 20% bonus if your balance falls between $10,000 and $24,999, and then finally you'll be receiving a 10% bonus if your balances are less than $10,000. So that could definitely be a way to pad your cash back a little bit more with that. Then on top of that, another benefit of this card, since it is a Visa card, this benefit is actually going to be coming from Visa. That is going to be your zero liability protection. So if you happen to lose this card, perhaps maybe it falls out of your pocket and someone picks up your wallet and they go off and use the card and spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on it, either physically at a retail store or even online, you will not be held liable to pay for those transactions because you did not authorize them. So that's a pretty good perk there. So now that we went over the main features of this card, at this point in time, we are going to go ahead and dive into the APR and fees, because of course that's also super important as well. So starting out on purchases, like I just mentioned, once again, you are going to have a 0% APR for the first 12 months from your account opening. Of course, you will want to make sure your balance is paid off in full before this 12 months in though, because after the 12 months in, at that point in time, your APR is then going to shoot up to anywhere between 18.49 to 27.49% based on your credit worthiness. Then as far as balance transfers go, your APR on those, just like your purchases, is going to be 18.49 to 27.49% based on your credit worthiness. So obviously it probably wouldn't make too much sense to carry out a balance transfer with this card, at least starting out. Maybe later down the line they will offer you like a 0% interest rate, like a promotion or something like that, whether it's 12 months, 15 months, or 18 months. But starting out at least, your APR on them, once again, is going to be anywhere between 18.49 to 27.49%. Then as far as cash advances go, on this channel, we usually recommend to stay far away from cash advances. This, of course, should not be considered financial advice, just my own personal reasons. Usually with them, you have a very high interest rate, plus you have to pay a lot of fees as well. But if you do decide to take out a cash advance with this card, just know that your APR on them is going to be a whopping 27.49%, plus a lot of fees as well, which we are going to go ahead and dive into right now. So as far as the fees go, starting out with your cash advance, your fee on each cash advance is either going to be $10 or 4%, whichever happens to be greater. Then as far as balance transfers go, even though it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to do a balance transfer, at least starting out with this card, later down the road, if they do offer like a promotional 0% interest rate on them, you decide to take advantage of that offer, just know that it's not going to be completely free though, because there is going to be a fee on each balance transfer. That fee is either going to be $10 or 3% of the amount of each balance transfer, whichever happens to be greater. Then as far as some other fees go with this card, there is going to be a late payment fee of up to $40. And then finally, as far as foreign transaction fees go, there are not going to be any foreign transaction fees. So if you do happen to travel abroad, this is definitely a card that you can take with you and you will not be hit with any extra fees. And then finally, there's also not going to be an annual fee either, so you can definitely keep this card on a year-to-year basis and you will not have to pay a single dime for it. That can definitely be an advantage as well. So now that we went over the main features of this card as well as the APR and fees, at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the best things about this credit card and the worst things about this credit card. So we're going to start out with the good things. The first good thing, of course, is the fact that you will be earning 3% cash back at gas stations and EV charging stations, 2% back on groceries and utilities, and then 1% cash back on everything else. Or you can choose the other option of 1.5% cash back across the board. It's simplicity. You're also going to have a 0% introductory APR on purchases for the first 12 months. So this could be a pretty solid opportunity for some folks who have larger transactions coming up. And then finally, you're also not going to have an annual fee with this card, and you're not going to have a foreign transaction fee with this card. So those are the good things about this card. As far as the drawbacks go, the first biggest drawback, at least in my mind, is the fact that there are no spend bonuses with this card. At least if it was something like $200 if you spend $1,000 within the first 90 days. Something would certainly be better than nothing, but this card at the moment does not offer any type of spend bonus. So that's the biggest drawback, at least in my mind. And the second drawback, of course, is the fact that the cashback really isn't all that great. Even with option 1, where you'd be earning 3% cash back at gas and EV charging stations and 2% cash back on groceries and utilities, on all other transactions you would only be earning 1% cash back. So in all other transactions you would have to be using another card. Or if you choose option number 2, where it's 1.5% cash back across the board, you can definitely do better with other credit cards out there, where there's like the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card, for example. You can earn 2% cash back across the board on all transactions. You're also earning the spend bonus, and you also have the 0% introductory APR on your purchases and balance transfers. So just to sum things up here, all in all, this is a card I probably would not recommend, just because it does not offer a spend bonus. And to be honest, the cash back that they're giving out right now just isn't really all that better than other credit cards out there on the market. Credit cards that offer other things like a spend bonus as well. But that's all we have for today's review. I certainly hope you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.